Hey guys, so coming back on so that we can finish up these beautiful earrings that we have going. Super excited to get these completed. I haven't quite got my table where it needs to be yet. Okay, there we go. I'm getting closer. I know I say this probably about every time, but I am getting closer to having this space set so that it will be a lot better. Basically, we won't have so much chaos per se. Maybe. Okay, so want to get these guys ready. I noticed before I came on, I was looking at these, just need to clean up the edges. We're going to end up probably painting the back and sealing with some UV resin and sealing these up nice and neat, so forth. So first off, I just want to go ahead and just do a little cleanup around the edges. Nothing too fancy, but we have a little bit of hangover of the resin, so I just want to take that little layer off, smooth that out. That looks really nice. And then we'll do our final painting of the backs. Oh, that's why I had those markers separated. Funny. Let's see if we find the same ones. I was like, why are these markers separated? Well, that's why. Silly me. So silly me. That looks like it, maybe chipped it. We'll see what it looks like when we seal that. There's kind of a funky little line. Not sure what's causing that. Trick with these, this is just a nail file, but the trick is just, rolling with it. Don't go against it, just rolling with it, let it file that down. It doesn't take really pressure. This one has a little bit more resin hanging off. So maybe going back and forth a little just to get that resin off of there. Try not to go too much because we don't want to ruin our shape, basically. That's the big thing. You don't want to do that. This does create quite a bit of dust, so just be aware of that. That one really didn't have much overflow. We will have to do some resin work on these, just because they do need a little bit more on the tops, and where we're going to do the backs, I want to have a little bit more on them. So, as much as I didn't particularly want to do another coat, just because I want to be able to put these together, it's just going to be what's needed. I'm just taking a little bit of water to wipe off the dust. I'm actually going to pull these over to the side, wipe it off, and then I'll wipe off my table here so that we don't get all this dustiness. And then we'll try to figure out these colors. Just feels good to kind of clean that up anyway. Oh, moved my trash can. More convenient, but forgot that it was more convenient. Oopsie. Okay, let's see. Purples. Might be able to find that pretty easily. Not quite. Not quite that one. Wondering if it's the one I'm coloring with. Probably that one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. It's probably a little darker than what I had on here, but it's close. And it's not like they're going to be showing next to each other per se. It's just I wanted to get as close as I could. So just, you know, trying to go with the wood grain, but also get these edges. Yeah, that's definitely darker. That's okay. Okay. Like I said, it's the back. Really not going to see this, but just to give it a more finished look, it's better for us to go ahead and paint them and put a coat of resin on it. And we'll do that, and then, whoops, we'll put that resin on there, and then we'll do the fronts one more time, and probably do just a small coat around our edges. So as you can see, I go a little chaotic with it. And these acrylic pens are really good. So I will link them. Good old Amazon for that. So, you know, just finish these. And basically we let that dry while we do the others. Let's see that. This one still looks like the wood just really sucked that paint into it in a couple spots. I was like, we're thirsty. Suck that up. Okay, I gotta put that back where I'm working. Okay. Ooh, this pink might be not that one. I'm just using a little bit on my thumb. I think it's this one. Because this will just wash right off. I could use a little rubbing alcohol and it would come right off too. But I'm fairly certain, and they don't say non-toxic, but I'm not putting them in my mouth, so I'm not worried. It's just acrylic paint. And like I said, it should just wipe off with some soap and water, even just some water. It should just come right on off. Oops, got my fingerprint on there. Get that off. Okay. Uno. And then we have dos. I'll do try. So how's everybody's week going? Been chaotic in my household per usual, I feel like. But it's like we still gotta make time to come craft. It's part of my self-care, and it's part of my resting time. Allows my brain to take a rest. There's very little time that my brain really shuts off. So, and this is one of those spaces that it can do that. So I definitely enjoy coming in, even on days where maybe I am a little bit tired. I still really enjoy being able to come in and craft. So I was at work earlier and I was like, man, I'm getting really tired. And I was like, no, we are gonna wake up because it is Wednesday and I get to go home, and after dinner I get to do some crafting. It's a little too yellow. Actually, I think it's this one now that I see it. Oh, let's hope that this goes over that. And it did. We got it on there thick enough. You won't be able to tell. This one is teeny tiny. Have to figure out where I hold it just so that I can get it painted. You could put them on tape to paint them too if you wanted. It'd be fine. But we're making this work. We're almost got them. We are going to put them on the tape though to do the resin work. I don't think this is quite the yellow that we did, but that's, again, that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. Yeah, those look good. Oh, I'm really excited about these. Okay. So I still actually have my tape piece from last episode. It rolled on itself a smidge, but it's still sticky enough that we'll be able to use it and it will do what we need. So I am going to put these on here. Did all of them fit on here? Goodness. I guess we did. I don't want them touching from the standpoint that when I put the resin on, I don't want them to be touching. Okay. Because these are teeny tiny, I got to put finger cuts on so that I'm not dipping my fingers in resin. So grab a handful of those finger cuts. You just have to figure out which way they go to roll down your fingers, basically. And then they're pretty easy to put on from there. You can get these almost, I mean, a lot of resin, like, kits will have these. And when I first started out, I ordered enough, like, kind of those random kits that I have a whole stash of these. And I don't put them on all my fingers because I don't really use those fingers when I'm touching the resin and so forth. So, you know, I just put them on the fingers I need, and I still have so many. I don't use them except for when I'm working with UV resin. And even then, I try to avoid to use them because, like, I can already feel they're cutting circulation off. But I know with working with these tiny pieces, I'm just better off having them on so that I don't get my fingers all gross. So I'm putting, this is Let's Resin, UV resin, just like we used in the first episode on the fronts. And I'm just really focusing on the center, and then we'll spread this out here in a moment to the edges. I'm going to use this silicone brush. It has some UV resin dried to it. It just peels right off. And then I'm just going to, like I said, bring this to the edge. Just nice and gently over to the edges. Make it go up here, but also not have it go over the edge. Essentially, that's the goal. And I kind of keep an eye on these to make sure nobody is having an overage. Start to roll down the edge so that I can clean up if I need to. Good news is if you did have it go over the edge, everything's fixable. It just means that you got to get a little bit creative and work a little harder maybe to get the look that you want. The other thing I would tell you with UV resin is that if you have a very bright light in your workspace, you can inadvertently start to cure your UV resin, and it can be hard to work with. So be aware of that when you're working with it. You want to make sure that your light isn't so extreme and directly on it. So my light's off to the side and shines into my workspace, but isn't as direct. I've had smaller lamps closer in the past and actually had my UV resin start to get super tacky and unable to work with it. And yeah, that was not very enjoyable. So I learned. I was like, why is this resin doing this? And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's why. This is a little tacky tonight as is. I think it's just because it's pretty cold. It's March, y'all. It is almost, no, it is mid-March. Literally mid-March. And we last 3 days have had snow. Freaking snow. Now, it hasn't stuck like on the grass and so forth. It's just been these light dustings of snow. And I'm like, what is going on with this weather? So, it's been driving me crazy. I mean, obviously I was going to finish this tutorial anyway, but I got some super cute molds that I want to use because I had a birthday earlier this month and I got some birthday money, and so I decided, well, you gotta add to your joy and pick up a few extra things. And I found some super cute molds on Amazon that I went ahead and ordered, and they've started coming in the last 2 days, and I'm like, I want to use these, but I don't think they're going to be great with UV resin, so I got to be patient. And oops, I just touched that right onto the resin. Should not do that. Luckily pulled it right back up. So I don't think it will work great with UV resin, so I gotta wait till it's warm enough that I can do some pouring. Some bubbles that are really trying to hang on, but I think we got most of them. And I'm getting as close as I can without hopefully going in. That smoked a little, so I probably went in, because I know I did on the first round. This is Counterculture DIY's UV light. I love this light. It is a dual light, but I'm only using the one side because that's all we need for this. Since these are wood anyway, and that's not going to let the light come from the bottom anyway. But I love this light. Let's Resin has one, and it's really great too. The only downside with the Let's Resin one is it does not allow, it doesn't fold down. It doesn't fold. This one, both sides fold in, and it makes it great for storing. So if you're in a smaller craft space and struggle with having room in your workspace, this is the best solution. So I always link their website because the big silicone mat that's on my table workspace is from Counterculture DIY. Fantastic purchase, by the way, to do that. I knew those weren't done. By the way, they're really strong tonight, so I can really smell the chemical. It could be because I semi-burned it. That could be part of it, but I can definitely smell it. So I went ahead and turned on my air purifier in the space. I should have had it on already, but where we were cleaning up pieces, I just kind of forgot. Anywho, so I always will put their website in my videos because I always have that mat down, and they have really great products. They're a small business, not sponsored by them by any means, but I love to support a small business like them. So I will tell you how amazing they are. I have used their UV resin and I do like it. I sometimes just am not putting in a big enough order to make it worth it, and so that's why I get the Let's Resin UV resin, because I can get it on Amazon, and I've been really happy with it. Maybe some artists notice the difference between the two. I personally haven't, but you know, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't. It's just that I personally have not. All right, these feel pretty good. You know, obviously I would love for them to cure a little bit longer, like before I start adding the attachments for the earrings. But, given our timing of things, I am not going to stress over it, and I'm going to go ahead and do the front sides of these. And it's really good that this tape isn't like 1000% sticky, because then it's not messing with our UV resin as we're doing this. Other than I can't get these positioned correctly to have room without touching one another. Stop touching! Stop kissing each other. That one has just a little bit missing UV resin, but I don't think anybody but me would notice, honestly speaking. Okay. So excited. So when you're doming your tops, it can be a smidge tricky to make sure that you get an even amount and not go over. The backs, obviously I didn't want to go over on, but when we're doing the front, it's even more of a concern that you don't want to end up over, just because you can really then keep creating issues for yourself. So hopefully we don't do that. These are super cute. I like them all. I really do. This one feels a little childish-esque to me. Oh, hey. I found 2 of our 3 markers underneath my workspace. So that's funny. Well, clearly we didn't do the yellow the same, and we didn't do that one the same, and I don't think the pink was the same. So, you know, that's fine. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, this one's a little bit girly, like childish girly, like young girl. But I think I'd still probably wear it. Let's bring out my inner child. I love purple, and I love the sweetness of it. I am kind of running down where I ran the sander, just to make sure that we cover that, because it does scrape up your resin. So you want to make sure that you hide that on the side. So I am, you know, just edging it a smidge, and then of course bringing it to the edge and all the way up, just trying to get us a good seal. I gotta watch this one. This one is trying. These are already semi-domed, so what can happen is it can really start to try to self-level, which you want it to self-level, obviously. But in that, it can start to go to one side and potentially overflow, and then you'll have this big glump on one side, and you don't want that. So it's a fine balance that you are working against, essentially. And you definitely want to try to get it as distributed across evenly as possible, so that gives you that good, clean, even cover. I might have just filled my hole there. I should be able to poke it out or use a drill bit with my Dremel and clean out that hole to get our jump ring in. That was kind of an unfortunate move on my part that I filled it, and it just kind of happened in my hurry to get it up here. And it's just, you know, the more I mess with it, the more it's just filling it, I feel like. So I just gotta stop messing. Gotta stop messing around with it. You know. I am going to be going to see my sister and my favorite niece here soon. You guys shouldn't notice any different though, because I believe that I'm about one episode ahead, which is always where I try to keep us, so that y'all don't skip a week. I think the last time I was, the other week I ended up posting later on Sunday. It was just that I thought I had it already, and then I told myself, oh shoot, you gotta go and do that. And then I went to bed and woke up Sunday and went, oh, yep, that wasn't set to post. That was last weekend that it was all set and done. So I was like, oopsie. I was like, surely they'll understand if I'm just a little late. But I will try to always get you one unless something crazy happens. Which, I mean, you're telling. I think it's burning off of this. Yep. That's lovely. And also when you're doing the lighter, not only are you popping bubbles, but you might be able to see like a spot where the resin is not fully distributed and that you want to touch up before you cure it. So it's kind of a twofold when you're doing the lighter and the UV resin. Do you want to be careful? You don't want to set it on fire. I did it with a big bubble right there. Let's see, did I get it? Nope. Let's see if I can get it here. Pretty, well, it might be in the other layer, so we're not gonna push it. We're not gonna push it. Alright. So this will probably need about 180 seconds just to get fully set up. And then we might even do a little bit longer just to make sure they're fully set before we proceed with putting the earring pieces together. This is just a little bit of rubbing alcohol in a little spray bottle. I didn't need enough to get my big bottle out to clean the tip of this, and so I just used a little spray bottle to do it because my big bottle is pretty full. I shouldn't need these. We should be set. So because they are cutting circulation off of my fingers, I am taking them off. These didn't get gross, so I'm just throwing them back in my workspace and I'll use them the next time. If they don't roll on, I'll just throw them away. It's all good. All good. So I'm pretty certain jump rings will work for these. And I think we're just going to go with silver earring hangers. So let's get 6 of them out. So I got 6 of those. Just trying to find which jump rings I want. Shouldn't be this hard, folks. Should not be this hard, but apparently it is. It is. It does. It does. That's okay. Okay. I do believe we use some of these. So we're gonna need. Gracious, we're gonna need 6 of them again, right? Yeah. We got 3 pairs times 2. Okay. We can do math. We can. Okay. Got us some jump rings ready. Get my jump ring tool. My jump ring tool. And some pliers. These will work. Okay. Oh, It hit my elbow. It really wasn't painful. It just, you know how when you say, like, ouch, and it doesn't really hurt, but you say ouch because, you know, you bump something. Yeah. But yeah. That was me. It was me. Oh, they're real nice. I'm going to do them, out of precaution, I'm going to do them for another 60 seconds. Just as a good precaution since we're going to be working with them right away. Normally, I would let these set and sit here for at least 12 to 24 hours before I started putting the pieces on them. But I'm going to proceed since we're going to get them nice and secured up here. In the meantime, I'm just cleaning up a little bit of my workspace on the side, putting a few things back where they go so that we can keep track of everything. I'm really trying to create habits of where things are so that they go a little smoother. I know, crazy, huh? Crazy of me. Kind of wild of me. Alright. Let's put those there. That over there. Okay. Oh, these are so darn stinking cute. And they feel pretty light. I was a little bit worried doing the levels of resin that I was doing. So I was a little bit worried about that, but it's worked out good. So yeah, we definitely went through. We got a little funky back going on, but I'm not overly worried about it because it's not like terrible. I'm just gonna put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on here. Some of that resin didn't cure up since it was on the underside. Oh, now we're stuck to our shape. That's fine. Let's see. I'm pretty certain. Just using one of these little tools, I think. Maybe not. It's pretty darn solid, and I do not want to end up, you know, breaking it, essentially. I do not want to do that. So, we are going to go ahead and drill bit this out of here, because we need to do that. I just want to make sure that I'm going to have you in my video. Yeah. I'm just going to do it right off the edge of my piece here, so I don't have to get my cardboard piece that I usually do that through. So this is just a Dremel tool with a drill bit in it, and it just allows us to get in that hole and clean that all up. I'm just trying to kind of make that hole just about the size that it should be. It's really messy too. Which is to be expected. Okay. Dremel tool is definitely worth it when you're working with jewelry and UV resin. Just saying. Okay, those are nice. That's nice. Now that tape probably is done. I've put my arm in it several times. Let's move on. Couldn't get it off my fingers. Which is always fun. If you can see my shirt, let's see if you could. I think you probably could have. Oh, maybe not. Okay, you just saw my arm. If you end up seeing my shirt, I have chickens on it. Here. Like, look at that. Little chickens. It's my pajama top. I came home, I'm like, I'm getting comfy. So, I got comfy. That's how it is. Alright, so that has a hole now so that we can work with it. Let's get these bebas made into earrings. I was like, oh my gosh. Alright, jump ring tool here. This little baby. If you've watched any of my other tutorials where I do jewelry, my best friend. Now, I'm thinking that these are not going to sit particularly the way that I want them, so I'm going to have to turn the base of this so that it's going to hang the way that I want it. And that's fine. You could add another jump ring, but in this situation I am just going to turn it so that it hangs the right way. Maybe I didn't need to turn it because now we're even more so screwed up. Let's see. Folks at home going, what did you do? I don't know. Don't ask. There we go. Okay, so I had to kind of open, or inadvertently when I moved it, open this up. So I'm just going to squeeze that shut. And then look at how freaking cute that is. Okay, so this, let me see. Did I really have to turn it? Yes, I did. And I was right in that. So all of these are going to have to be turned, but I'm going to make sure I turn them fully before I'm hooking that jump ring on. So basically I need this piece to be looping to where I can see it and not where I can't see it. Or I could put on an, oh, that one broke. Sometimes that happens. The metal just isn't strong enough. You could put another jump ring on, but I'm choosing to just turn these. But of course I risked breaking, and that one did. So I'm going to do these others, make sure I don't break any more. And if I break another, then I'll get another one out. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine. Okay. So, let's pull another one of these out of our toolbox. I have this really cool toolbox. Watch one of my other videos. I can't remember what episode, but I've shown it in a couple episodes where I'm doing earrings and so forth. And it's handy. It keeps all my jewelry pieces in it, and I love it. Alright. Oops, don't take the broken one. But this little jump ring tool definitely is a blessing, I would say. I think it's always funny. This mat has this bubble in it. It's comical. Comical. So it helps you opening. You could use 2 pliers, but then you're having to put one down as you're doing this part. I found that this is so much easier. It allows me to keep it close, but also not in my way. And I'll bring these up closer here as soon as we get done making them. Just make sure those come together. Make sure our jump rings come together. I wasn't sure if I was going to love the yellow, because I have a weird relationship with yellow, and I don't know why. But somebody once told me something about it, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want others to latch on to the idea, because I don't know how true it really is. But ever since a kid, you know, somebody told me something about yellow, and it just been like, ew. And yellow doesn't look good on me. Like a pale yellow shirt, it just completely pales me. even though I've seen some really pretty yellows like that. And so then that also has been an issue, but I really love those. And I think the contrasting of colors in that is really sweet. And these jump rings might be a little bit big for these, but truthfully, as far down that the holes are is kind of what we needed to make sure that it's gonna go through. So, and the other size I had was like super tiny and would not have worked. So I didn't have a good in between, I would say. So yeah, it's all good. Alright, let me put this my precious jump ring back in here because I can't lose that baby. Cannot afford to lose it. I do have a second one, but I'll tell you, I only maybe 3-4 years ago discovered those. So, kind of like my precious, type thing. Okay, we are going to put these on here so that y'all can see them. And they are so cute. And I'll probably let them continue to, set fully up and everything. If you were going to ship them or gift them, I would probably wait 24 to 48 hours just to, put them in any sort of wrapping, just because you don't want them to get stuck. I'm putting the light on, the flash on, so y'all can see these. And I am going to do a close-up. Look at how cute they are. I mean, these are so sweet. I know it's a little bit hard. The flash makes it super reflective. That's just that you got good quality resin creating a beautiful shine. And we've got some really stunning earrings. And they were relatively simple. What great spring gifts these would be. Send them to a friend who maybe lives far away just to brighten their day, something like that. It would be wonderful. I really enjoyed those, y'all. That was a lot of fun. I don't know why that doesn't sit flat. Oh, it's got a hanger on the back, that's why. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it too. It's always fun to get in the craft space, and I will see you guys again soon. Hopefully this weather can play nice and warm up so that we can play with the new molds I got. Alright, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.